Good morning, dear children. Just a quick revision of our previous video. We began with the scientific principles of F.W. Taylor, and after finishing with the four principles, we began with the techniques of scientific management. The first technique we finished was functional foremanship, and the second technique that I am starting today is standardization and simplification of work. Now, in order to understand this technique, we need to understand the two words differently, individually. And the first word is standardization. Children, here standardization simply refers to setting standards, setting quality, setting a benchmark. And here scientific management always emphasizes on maintaining standards relating to every step of business management, every step in the business operation. So standardization of output is possible only if we maintain standards right from, say, selection of the kind of individuals working on machines, standards or quality, right from selection of tools, equipments, and even the quality of machines that we'll be using for production. So standardization does not mean only quality standard, but it refers to setting up standards, a certain standard for size, certain standards for types, weights, measures, and the overall quality of product. So children, here we have 3 points, and these 3 points are 3 objectives of standardization, what exactly standardization does. So standardization is basically maintaining quality standards, setting benchmarks, and quality standards can be set by using quality raw material, quality tools, quality machines, and setting up performance standards both for men and machines. And standards will be in sizes, types, weights, measures, and of course the overall quality of the product. And the second word in this technique is a simplification. So simplification's literal meaning is to simplify something. But what does simplification refers to here in this technique of scientific management? Here simplification refers to, children, before understanding the meaning, you need to understand that more and more varieties, if an organization produces more and more varieties of a certain product, it means more and more inventory. More and more inventory means more and more machines, and more machines obviously would increase the labor cost. So by simplifying the work, we can reduce the labor cost, we can reduce the inventory, and we can obviously reduce the use of machines. But how to simplify the work? How to reduce? So simplification here in scientific management refers to elimination of unnecessary varieties, elimination of unnecessary shapes, elimination of unnecessary sizes, types, etc. So in order to explain you simplification, I would just share a small example. I'm sure everybody is familiar with Nestle, and Nestle's Maggie we all are lovers of. But you must not know that when Nestle launched Maggie, it did not launch Maggie in just one flavor. It launched into chicken masala, Maggi masala, and various other flavors. So after launching, it had kept an eye on which flavor is most popular amongst the population. So the results were shocking, of course, because of the major population of our country is vegetarian. So the demand rose for masala Maggi, which we have today. We do not see chicken masala Maggi and other Maggi so much into, so much famous into the population. Hence, Maggi withdrew chicken masala and various other flavors which were not into demand, and moreover, it was increasing the cost of inventory. Inventory management was, problematic. Of course, the labor cost also increased. So they simplified the variety which was unnecessary, increasing the cost. They removed it, and today we have just Maggi masala. So children, the objectives of simplification in scientific management of this technique is elimination of unnecessary diversity of products, size and types. Second, what will happen if this unnecessary diversity of product size and types is reduced? It reduces the overall cost of production. So children, this technique of standardization and simplification is not easy for every management organization, and you all must be wondering how this standardization and simplification can be ensured. So if you remember, in the previous session when I introduced F.W. Taylor, I said he gave 4 principles. I said he gave 3 techniques of scientific management, and he gave 4 work studies also. So it is only through these 4 work studies that every organization can ensure standardization and simplification of work. So 4 work studies are method study, motion study, time study, and fatigue study. So we'll study all 4 studies in this video itself. So the first study we have is method study. So children, method study in scientific management is a study which is conducted to find out one best method of performing a job, which keeps production cost low, right? Which keeps production cost low, and it would basically increase the maximum use of resources. So method study is a study which will help us in finding one best method of performing. It keeps production costs low and maximum use of resources can be increased. In other words, economic use of resources. So I would just share again a small example in order to make method study more clear. For example, there's a shoe manufacturing company. Now, shoe manufacturing company has 2 methods of manufacturing shoes. One could be labor intensive, the other one could be capital intensive. Now, which is the best method of production? So the cost of both the methods will be compared, will be analyzed, and which method is using maximum resources, is using resources in an economic way, will be compared. So out of both labor intensive and capital intensive method, whichever reduces the cost of overall production and exploits more and more or you can say maximum resources, that method will be the best method of production. And through this one best method of production, yes, the company can ensure standardization and simplification of work. Children, the second study is motion study. Motion here refers to movements. In a factory, you all can imagine there could be n number of movements, right from loading the finished products, unloading raw materials. So there could be many movements. The only thing we need to categorize is which movements are productive and which are non-productive. So motion study differentiates between productive and non-productive non-productive movements, and the only objective of motion study would be to eliminate all those non-productive movements, because of which the overall targets, the overall objective of the organization is delayed, time is wasted, efforts are wasted. Again, a small example to understand motion study. While observing an average worker, if say factory foreman or the supervisor observed that the worker is bending frequently just to pick up tools from the toolbox which is placed under his table, so then a stool box can be placed near his seat to keep the toolbox so that the worker does not waste his energy in bending again and again. So I repeat the example once again. If you notice that an average worker is bending again and again just to pick up the tools from the toolbox which is placed under his table, so you can imagine how much time he would be simply wasting in bending again and again and picking up the tools. So the best thing that we can do is placing a stool near his table, and on that stool the toolbox can be kept. So motion study is just not differentiating productive and non-productive movements, rather eliminating the non-productive movement which is wasting time, and and designing special equipments, children, or designing a special technique, which minimizes unproductive movements. And designing the technique in this example was placing a stool near the table of that worker, because of which he could save time in bending again and again. So I hope the first two studies, method study and motion study, are clear to you. And children, the third study is time study. So basically, the time study is conducted under scientific management to calculate or to record the standard time that has been taken by a particular activity or the standard time taken by a particular job, setting up standard targets for the workers and determining the number of workers required to perform a job, categorizing the workers in efficient and inefficient categories. So these are the three objectives of time study, children: to find out standard time to perform a job, basically calculating how much time has been taken by a particular activity, determining the number of workers required to perform that job, and then accordingly categorizing the workers into two categories, that is efficient and non-efficient. Now here you need to understand one thing, that Taylor suggested that the time which is required to perform a job should not be simply decided by intuition, will or wish of a manager. Rather, time study must be conducted to determine the average time that is basically taken to perform a job. Now listen to this, what exactly Taylor did. Now, in order to conduct time study, children, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing the job with a stopwatch in hand. Yes, please note down, it was a 1-mark question in the board exam, the use of stopwatch in which study. So you must know that obviously stopwatch will be used in time study. So he suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing a job with a stopwatch and note down the average time taken by the worker in completing that particular job. And then he suggested to repeat the same observation 100 times and then take out the average time. So this time should be considered the average time for performing that particular job. Keeping this in mind, children, the targets for workers should be fixed, and the workers who are able to achieve their targets in standard time are average workers. And if the worker is able to achieve target before standard time, then he is an efficient worker. And if the worker failed to achieve target in standard time, then obviously he is an inefficient worker or non-efficient worker. So I hope these three objectives are clear, how the standard time is taken. Once that average worker performed the task 100 times, taking out that average time, and that average time will be finally considered in determining the number of workers that can be required to perform that particular job, and whosoever finished or met the standard time would be efficient. The one who could not finish will be non-efficient. So these are the three objectives of time study. So children, the fourth and the last work study given by F.W. Taylor is fatigue study. So basically, what is fatigue study doing? This study is conducted to find out or to set the rest intervals. The number, frequency and duration of rest intervals is set by fatigue study. Now, have you ever wondered why even in our schools, we have almost 8 periods, and why after the 4th period we have lunch interval? Why do we have that break of 20 or 30 minutes? Have you ever wondered? It is only and only because of fatigue study, children. Now imagine studying continuously right from the 1st period till the 8th period without any break in between. Imagine the condition, your concentration level. Will you be able to concentrate on all these subjects efficiently as you did for the first 2 or 3 periods? Obviously no. Hence, fatigue study noticed that the workers who were working for long hours, they were very efficient initially, but by the end of the day, their efficiency level started decreasing. Hence, this was observed by Taylor, and he gave the solution of fatigue study, which would not only set rest intervals, but yes, would also find out the number or the frequency of rest intervals given. Say, for example, if a worker has, if in a factory 1, 2, and 3 shifts are followed. So if a worker has, first and the third shift, so obviously he can rest in the second shift and can work again in the third shift. This fatigue study would help workers in help workers to work with the same efficiency with which they started the work in the morning. So here we ended with the 4 work studies: method study, motion study, time study, and fatigue study given by F.W. Taylor. And it is only through these 4 work studies that the second technique, standardization and simplification of work, can be ensured in every organization. Thank you.